Alright. Kinda getting another late start. Things are going wonky on the internet end of things. So I'm just gonna kinda watch it for a second. I might have to move some cables around. But yeah, I'm just gonna watch it for a second. Seems like things are going okay-ish. Yeah, give me one second. I want to swap something around real quick. Let's see here. If that will help with things a little bit, before we actually get started in tonight's session. Okay. But yes, anyway, tonight, I fully expect we'll be finishing off Alan Wake, the first one. We were definitely in the final chapter, the final section of the game, I believe, last week. And if I had decided to stay up another 20-30 minutes playing the game, I'm pretty sure we probably could have finished it off. Oh, who knows how much longer there actually was. Alright, yeah, I know you're ready. Stupid thing. So, now that I think everything's stable and whatnot, we'll go ahead and load up the game and watch it crash everything down to the ground. Good, I have audio. Okay, whew, here we go. Oh, this is a much later start than I wanted to have tonight, but I was busy trying to get things actually ready for tonight. Alright. So, where we were last time, we were making our way towards the lake and dealing with things falling out of the skies and enemies killing me all around. Yes. Right here. Can't remember. Get that on the right side. So, let's see how well this will go tonight. Okay. So I'm on Magnum, yes. Because, let's hear, like a fire truck comes falling out of the sky next. I think first. Or a piece of bridge. Oh, yep, this guy. Oh, I forgot about... Oh, okay, that was it. Oh boy. Swap back to my Magnum. Come on, get close, get close. Whoa. Hey. Alright, there we go. 4 shots. As long as I land all the shots correctly and accurately, won't be a massive problem. How many? I don't know. Okay. So those guys use up a chunk of ammo. Thermos there. And that's the boat. I remember the boat. I distinctly remember the... Okay. Alright, I got 2 of them now. And... Alright, so I'm gonna back off into a more open area. Yes, back off over here. Lead them back here. Oh! Yep. It's like I'm trying to focus. Okay, so we're down to 3 shots left. Except I think there was, oh, wait, that was shotgun ammo. That's not actually what I wanted. I wanted more pistol ammo. So we're gonna swap to the hunting rifle. Okay, I thought I already killed you punks. Alright. Flashbang. Yes. This. Well, there was 2 flashbangs. Alright. Is that just a rock? Yes, that's just a rock. Anything up? Okay. Any more? Gonna sneak up on me here? So yeah, I think I was up there where I died last week and then had to call it. A little ways up here, huh? Yeah, come on. Bring it. Oh, you're gonna take 2 shots, aren't you? Don't like that. I don't want him taking 2 shots. Okay. Alright. Checkpoint. Come on, checkpoint. We've officially made it further than last week. In one piece. Shotgun. How many rounds did we get? Okay. That's better. I saw something over here. Nope. Nope. Nothing more else. Up we go. I think that's the direction we're going. Everybody throwing buses at me next? Oh, that's a train car. Alright. How many villains are in there, huh? It's like I'm wary to approach it too quickly. It'd be funny if there was like a thermos inside of there. Okay, that was a noise. See, that's how you do it. None of this camera jerking your attention up. Just drop it randomly on the player. That's how you do it. That's a boat. So that makes 2 boats. Not in the water anymore. Now on top of a mountain. Is that lighthouse? Oi. Oi. Bigger boat. Much bigger boat. Biggest boat. Oh, come on. Let me in the boat. Oh, gosh darn. I don't think there's any way to climb up on top of these things. Is there? Doesn't appear to be. Well. Up, 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 up. Up, 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 up. Let's get to the light. Checkpoint. Taken are filled with darkness. Oh, not a lighthouse, like a silo. Oh, that's fun. Flashbangs. Nothing back there. Head upstairs. I think for right now I'm gonna stay with the hunting rifle. Though that could be a bad idea. I don't know, I like the hunting rifle a lot. But I only have 4 shots, so maybe I should swap to the pump action. Jeez, how many times I can hold it down? Right. Just cause I know we're gonna need more ammo. Alright, let me take a look, survey the battlefield. Alright. 1 step. And 2 steps. Let's check over here. That's why we check. Oh. There we go. Definitely come in handy. It's like I can hear the things moving around. Guessing that's the direction we're gonna want to go. Alright, all that stuff's full up. Yes, Nope, nope, nope. Alright. Okay, let's see here. Nope, nope, nope. Oi. Time to bolt. Okay. That was not the smartest idea, hanging out there. Ooh. Come on. Come in. Come in. So that's a... Whew. It's like no matter how many times I could not keep the flare gun equipped. Alright, let's swap to some flashbangs for some more effectiveness. Alright. Looks like... Alright. Hey, come on. Get in line. Anything in here? No, no. Ooh. Whoa. Just jump on up. Ooh. I'm just gonna double check for collectibles and your manuscript pages. Nothing sticking out to me here. Okay, that was... Hold on. Didn't check back here, and there's nothing. Alright. You know more are gonna be jumping out at me. Just know it. go. Oh, well. Thank you. Alright. Feel like it'd be better to swap to the flares now. 9. Alright. Now there's just a lot of stuff between me and the lake.
Turn back now.
Oh, look who's scared of me, huh? Oh, no, let's do this one. Whoa. Oh, I see you. Alright. There we go. It's like this part of the game, you know, several playthroughs into the game, getting all the mechanics finally down. It's how it goes every time. Oh, what the? Was that just the... Wait a second. Scarecrow. I will not do as I told. Your metal beams cannot withstand the power of pure light. Oh, that's
She never loved you.
Don't lie to me. I'm going down. Oh, thank goodness for those wooden beams stopping that. Those old wooden beams stopping that car. Okay. Okay. Wait, what? Throwing this over there? Oh. Okay. It's like I thought I saw something over there. Destroy the tornado. Nope. You get away from... Your after image is still here. Well, I got both of them for the price of one.
You can't win.
Oh! She's right, I wasn't paying attention to that. Oh. Ooh. Alright. There's a gap right there. Ooh. Oh. Come on, right? Okay. One boat down. Let's see, let's aim for... Okay, Blair's got to be real close. Just shoot a flare right into there. Ooh-wee. Whoop. Oh, jeez. Things are real getting close.
I had to get light into its heart to hurt it.
Okay. That's what I'm trying to do. It's hard to tell if I'm actually doing anything. I'm gonna try a risky move.
You will fail.
Yep, that was a risky move. Oh, shit. Haha! Get me now.
You can't win.
Okay. Want to take care of some of this debris a little bit. Yeah. Uh-oh. Burn some of that. There we go. That was a good hit. There's another. I don't like how close those things get in the back of my head. Let's try to shoot right about there.
I had to get light into its heart to hurt it.
Well, that's what we're trying. Rapid fire this stuff. Alright. Alright, there's a bus down. Because I want to get on that platform. I really do.
You will fail.
There you go.
It's all in your head.
No, it ain't.
You're making a sound.
I don't think I got the birds, but got her. Oof. I don't like that camera angle. Oh, okay.
Hell!
You want those to be your famous last words?
Shh, baby. You were having a bad dream. It was just another nightmare.
No,
Everything's fine. You're home.
it wasn't a dream.
Everything's
fine. Turn the lights on.
Not. No, it's
Turn the lights on!
not.
Shh, baby. The power's out. There's no light. Come back to bed and I'll make you forget all about your fear of the dark.
My fear? It's your fear. Why aren't you afraid? You're not Alice. Turn the lights on now. Where's the clicker? What did you do with it?
Alan, honey, you're still 1 foot in a dream. You're not making any sense. Come back to bed.
Nope. Nope. Clicker.
Alan, you're scaring me now. Come back to bed.
Curious.
Have you taken your pills? Do you want me to call Dr. Hartman?
Nope.
I read your manuscript. It's brilliant. Departure is your best work yet. You're a genius. I'm so proud of you. Come back to
Come
bed.
on.
We'll talk more about it in the morning. Come back to bed, Alan.
Come back to the big Tom.
Ah. Zing, my buddy. What the?
You must find your way to the cabin. It stands in your way. It won't let you pass.
Really?
It has no heart. It's filled with darkness. You must fill its heart with light.
Wait, which one's the real me?
Don't mind him. He's Mr. Scott. Your friends will meet him when you're gone. Use the clicker.
I didn't like the sound of that. Oh. The thermos. Bird. Shoo, fly away, be free. Barrel. Shoo, fly away, barrel. Ow, okay. You're next, phone. You too, bird. Yes, hello?
I followed the idea of a path.
Shopping cart. great. Been killed by those many times in various games. Telephone pole. Hello, pole. Okay. Ha! More stuff. There
I'm
we
leaving
go.
you.
What?
I'm leaving you, Alan. I met someone. I'm in love with someone else.
Alice? No, what are you saying? You can't.
You don't love me. How could you? You don't even love yourself. All you do is torture yourself with work you can't do anymore.
No, I love you more than anything in the world. You're my muse.
I'm not.
Who are you? What have you done with my Alice?
Alan? What are you doing? Put the light back on. What are you doing, Alan? Stop! Put the light back on!
It
You're
wasn't
working on
true.
it.
Nothing like that had ever happened.
I had written myself across the ocean.
With a bridge. Bridge this gap. Fly away, birdie.
You're not my Barbara.
Tom, let me go. I promise to be good. Please, untie me, you naughty boy. I will help you write your masterpiece. I will love you forever.
No,
Wow.
you're not Barbara Jagger. I made a terrible mistake. I should have never written you back. You came back wrong. Your heart is filled with darkness.
Put that knife away, Thomas. Put it down.
Heart is filled with darkness. Cut it out. I'll take you back to the depths you came from. Filled with darkness.
I willed the cabin to be real.
Let's just go ahead and get everything. Everything back to the light. Alright.
Get away from me, you hag! Where am I? Let me go!
Alice! Alice! I'm coming!
Your husband refused to do as he was told. All he had to do was write what I wanted him to write. Now it's too late. It's his fault. You'll stay here forever.
Not if I have anything to say about it.
Now you will never get her back. I am much older than you.
So?
Older than your first work of art. I will find a new face to wear. Someone else to dream me free.
She said, dream this. But he's a writer, not an action hero. He doesn't have the cliche. He doesn't say the cliches. He just writes them. The witty one-liners. Did you do it, pal?
I could feel Alice's presence close by. I understood what I had to do now. I knew how to write the ending to Departure. There's light and there's darkness. Cause and effect. There's guilt and there's atonement. But the scales always need to balance. Everything has a price. That's where Zane had gone wrong. There's a long journey through the night back into the light. Alice? Alice? Oh no!
Time. Curious. Trying to predict where it's gonna go here. Swimming up or going through like a cave system?
Alan? Alan?
Let's go in that direction, I think.
It's not a lake. It's an ocean.
Alan, wake up.
Interesting. Very interesting. And I feel like we're going to be going into some copyright music, so we're probably going to skip these, unless I can do... Hold on.
Ground control to make
Yeah. So I'm going to turn the desktop audio way down for that. But there we go. It's like knowing that there's an Alan Wake 2 that came out next, just recently, which I don't expect that I myself am going to get to play it anytime soon. I did finally actually watch a trailer for it, so it seems interesting. And also how they've tied the Alan Wake narrative and Control into like one universe in a way. So I'll be interested to when I play Alan Wake 2 to see exactly how they're tying Alan Wake into the Control universe, as far as I'm aware of how that's going to work. Because it's not like doesn't seem like they're sharing equally. It's like, nope, they're looping Alan Wake into the universe they set up with Control and the Bureau and all the paranormal entities in that storyverse. So, very interesting. Um, kind of made it seem like, as far as, hard to tell if they're talking like outside of his manuscript, the story where all the paranormal stuff is going on. If the quote unquote real world, where he managed to save Alice and she got out, or Allie? Alice or Allie? Ooh, already forgetting that. So it seems like he writ himself out of the story. But then that whole Mr. Scratch, that Zane was telling us, no, don't worry about that guy, the Mr. Scratch guy. It's like, he seems like he's the clone, the replacement, while Alan, the real Alan, is stuck dealing with the actual paranormal elements. That's my interpretations thus far, not having delved into anything beyond just playing the game, not looking at any theory videos or explanation videos or any of that. This is just purely based on my understanding of the story through playing it firsthand. But overall, definitely did enjoy this game. This was a fun one. The when I first bought this game, it's like my sister and I, we were buying a bunch of games to like try and play together years ago, and we never actually got around to doing any of that. So we were looking at this one, we weren't sure. I didn't really know what kind of gameplay was actually gonna be in it. So this was a little bit more action packed than I was anticipating. I was expecting something a little more, a little bit more action and stuff going on than what I was experiencing in Amnesia last year. But this was way more action-packed, considering it was technically a third-person shooter with flashlight mechanics. But I liked that. That was a fun, just little gimmick for this game. The gameplay gimmick of playing with the light and dark. You're in a shooter, third-person shooter, so you got your guns, but light is also your main weapon, your main defense. It's more your shield than your sword in this one. So, definitely a fun gameplay loop for me. And I totally see how much of the feel and motion they did refine in Control with Control's gunplay. So, and then in Control they just layered on the various abilities and whatnot. And so, man, yeah. So we'll see how long. I heard the main song just wrap up, I think, so I don't know what's the next they got going on in there, but I'm going to kind of keep it a little low, the volume. Just in case. So, that was about 40-ish, 45 minutes. So, it would have been a much longer session if I'd continued on last week to complete it. That would have gone on closer to 3 hours. I wasn't quite up for another 3-hour live stream, so I'm glad we kind of pushed this off to tonight. So once the credits roll, we'll take a look at some of the stuff, and then we'll try doing. We'll spend a little bit of time before we wrap up the stream. Kind of got a sort of a a review of 2023's live streams, kind of, kind of setting it up a little bit in like a tier list sort of a style. You'll kind of see what I mean when I get going into it. So I'm gonna be experimenting a little bit. So, but we gotta first get through the end of the credit sequence, which is very long. And it's been a while since I've played games that just had a decent sized you know credit scroll. So they're gonna be going through localization for like everything, every country, every continent, every world ever. Korea, okay. Microsoft localization. Oh, so a lot less localization in some of those other countries. Yeah, I'm gonna look at some of the in-game stats and stuff and see like just how many of the collectibles and manuscript pages and all that stuff I managed to get on first playthrough. This is like I know for sure of one thermos I did not grab. I know that much. It was one in the standoff with when you're with the kidnapper earlier on in the game, and he's got the gun, but you got the flare, so you got to provide the light for him. And there was one that I should have just tried to go and grab it, but I was like, I'm gonna wait till the end of the sequence. As soon as the end of the sequence comes along, cutscene. No, you don't get to go grab that thermos. Well, darn. We're getting to the special thanks. That means we're close to the end of the credits. And it'll still be like 5 more minutes. Writing and editing. Also, like, wonder how many of the actual, like, the Night Spring videos there were throughout the game. Because I think there was, like, seemed like there was 3 or 4 that I got to watch. Yeah, we just finished the first playthrough. About however many minutes ago when the credits first started. But yeah, just wrapped it up. I was pretty close to the end when I stopped last week. So it was just a short segment to wrap up this game. Oh wait, specials, localization. Oh boy. Definitely a lot more here. It's like I really want to just like ride out the credits and then get on with the things, but I don't start getting bored here. Wait, I feel like I'm wasting time. I was like, I want to watch through the credits, give the courtesy. Okay, so we went through all the localization for the main game, and then we did all the localization now for the special videos inside of it. Hey, from Brazil. Okay. Yeah, I definitely enjoyed this game. I was like, I wasn't quite sure what I was going to experience when I first booted it up, but after the first session, I was like, yep, I knew I was going to enjoy this game. No clue when I'll actually get to Alan Wake 2, which just recently came out, obviously. But, you know, I expect to play it someday. I got quite a bit of a backlog to get through first. Ooh. Now, external services. Oh, goody. I think this music's safe to start actually booping some audio up in there. I don't think this is terribly copywritten. It's like that's another thing that I gotta be a little mindful of some of these games that will have some of those copyright music in them. Some of these more cinematic narratives could be problematic. So we're dealing with all the secondary studios helping out now. Motion capture. Okay, voice acting. See, there we go. Get to see the voice actors. Ah, I'll have to look him up. Yeah, you just kind of forget just how many different characters we're talking throughout this game here. Like likeness, motion capture, and live action. Look at Villy. Likeness. No, I've not played Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines. It's like I don't even think I have a. I don't think I can even picture that right now. I don't have a game to go with that. But definitely the whole. I totally understand the Stephen King feels because of all the birds in this game. Definitely went on and on about the birds throughout my playthrough. Yeah, I've generally have not often played. I've been a little bit more of a first-person shooter and a little bit of action adventure here and there through most of my video gaming career. You know, outside of the early years of, you know, Nintendo GameCube games. Now we should actually be getting close to the end. This is all the music used in it. There we go. War. Okay, I guess I just did not realize there was that many songs that they just used. Departure written by Alan Wake. Well, what I'm expecting to do, depending on what all goes on here, like I've already played through the game. The plan was to kind of wrap it up tonight. But I'm just curious. I wanted to look at, you know, statistics, extras, and various little things here real quick. But I do have kind of something planned for afterwards to wrap up spend a little bit of time wrapping up the stream. But let's see here. Kills with revolver, doing 23. Definitely use that one. Flare, 43. Shotgun, 72. Even though I didn't really like the shotgun all that much. I loved the hunting rifle, 52. Flashbangs, 69. Kills with vehicle, 9. Killed in vehicle, 1. Indirect kills, 41. That'd be all the electricity zaps. Poltergeist objects destroyed, 96. Birds killed. Don't show PETA. Batteries used. I really didn't use batteries that much. Not till towards the end of the game. 80 out of 106. I'm missing 26. Missed 26. Ooh. Missed 27. Thermoses. Cane pyramids knocked over. Yeah, I wasn't seeing those things very much. Chests found. 19 out of 30. Hey, those birds had it coming. They dive bombing me left and right. Top and bottom. Radio shows found. Okay, so found almost all the radio shows. Found almost all the TV ones. I wonder if one more of them would have been a Night Springs episode or just the, Alan Wake. Don't know. Signs found. Signs found. I don't know what they're referring to the signs. Are they talking about the signs left by the lady, or are there other signs? Alarm clocks found. I didn't even know that was a thing. Cardboard standees found. Oh. Video games. Wow. Only things to look for in future playthroughs. So that's that. What is this? Cinematics radio. Okay. So that's okay. Wait. Cinematics. When we talk about this, are we talking about just the... Okay. I'm a little upset that I'm not seeing, like... not seeing the Night Springs things, unless I'm just... Hold on. Yeah, I think the first one was... Not gonna lie. Totally would have expected a... Okay, so that's just new game. Option textures. Yeah, I totally would have expected the Night Springs videos at some point in there. I would have loved watching those. Those were some of my favorite parts. Oh, okay. Alright, well, that was my first time experience going through Alan Wake. Alright, let's see here. Got a little bit of time. We're going to experiment with the formula a little bit. And see what happens. So this will be interesting. It's nothing fully scripted. don't know what all's gonna go down here, but let's see what I can do. So, right up here, kind of gonna do sort of a little bit of a tier list type of thing. That's what we're gonna do. I was thinking about, 2023 was my first full year of like consistently doing these Friday night live streams and going through games. I actually started in the year before, so 2024, and started with Ocarina of Time because I was playing through Ocarina of Time for the first time. Not the first time, but well, first time in years. We'll put it that way, like decades. Not quite decades, but close enough. It feels like. And about halfway through playing through Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time, I decided it's like, I'm gonna use this and just start streaming. So I started doing that. Finished up Ocarina of Time, then started Majora's Mask, and so Majora's Mask was the first game I was playing through 2023 with these Friday night live streams. After we did that, I stayed on the GameCube because I was playing it on GameCube. So alright, I'm going to stay on GameCube. What other games can I play through again on there? I'm like, alright, well, I have Metroid Prime 2. I've been wanting to play through that again. So I'm like, alright, here we go. So I played through Metroid Prime 2. After I finished up Majora's Mask, I spent a lot of time on Majora's Mask. Largely because I was like, I didn't know exactly what all I was doing. And the last half of the game, I had not actually experienced myself yet. So that was good. I had some new experiences on top of the familiar experiences. Metroid Prime 2 was just, a second playthrough years later. And so it's like I kind of knew everything, but trying to dust off the memory banks on that one. Then, after I did Metroid Prime 2, I was like, alright, I'm gonna play through Star Fox Adventures. Go down the nostalgia kick on that too. So quickly ran through Star Fox Adventures. That was fun again. And followed that up with Star Fox Assault. Really short game. The audio was garbage, at least in my headphones. I've never actually fully listened to what it sounded like on the live stream, but I don't think it sounded that good. I think it sounded better than what I was hearing. I think. Don't know. Let's see here. After Assault, I started up one of my favorite PC games, that I played as a kid, which is MDK2. And I decided that for MDK2, because I played it a lot growing up, I'm like, alright, MDK2, this go around, I know the game inside and out. We're going to play on the hardest difficulty, which I hadn't actually done other than the first couple levels, or the first level and a half. So, alright, we're going to play through MDK2 on Jinky's difficulty, the hardest level, go all the way through. That ought to be fun. And it was fun and surprisingly easier than I expected, but that's just because I played that game a lot. So the hardest part was actually one of the most surprising parts, and it was fairly early on. And then I finished up MDK2 just at the tail end of October. And so for the Halloween weekend, I was like, alright, I should mix it up. I should do something different. So I'm like, alright, let's try and find a spooky or horror game or something like that in my Steam library or something to play. And so I ended up playing through Amnesia: The Dark Descent, which was totally different ball game than what I'm used to playing. Totally different. And I was like, alright, let's see if I can actually get spooked, if I can get scared. And it got me a couple times. I would say there's about 3 or 4 times really did get me. Yeah. Fallout 1 and 2 on PC games. Yeah, I've not played any of the Fallout games yet. Tibia. I'm not familiar with that one. Yeah. Let's see here. So after Amnesia the Dark Descent, then we did Alan Wake. And that's what we just wrapped up. So Alan Wake concluded out the 2023 year and kicked off the 2024 year. Good times. So it was an interesting. So I'm like, all right, what do I want to do? Kind of like a um, wrap up, kind of summarize, review 2023 and the gaming experiences. So it's like, all right, I'm going to do something kind of like a tier list a little bit, and so that's what we got here. It was the first MMO. So man, that was probably before my time. Cause like for me, I always, as young as I was at the time, was like, was it World of Warcraft was the first MMO I was ever aware of? Ooh. Okay, so okay, I think I'll just stick with the mouse. I got the art tablet out just in case, but I think the mouse is gonna cause the least amount of noise as far as the mic and stuff like that. So I'm like, all right, how do I want to do this? And I decided, I'm gonna split off into categories of. I was thinking about for each of the games that I played. What are some of the character categories that we had that I could pick through and kind of try and rank them a little bit. So I'm like, all right, well, we got your protagonists, the main player character, very easy one. Each game has one. Antagonists, that was another easy one. Each game has those. Sidekicks, a little tricky here and there, but I was like, there's some sidekicks to kind of line up. And I was thinking about one more is like guides, kind of the character that either gives you the information you need periodically through the game or is the guiding character in the narrative to kind of help the protagonist along. Sort of a weird one there. So I think let's see here. Let's go ahead and just start with the guides. So we'll get those lit up, and I'll kind of go through the characters a little bit. And I'm not exactly sure how exactly like a tier list I'm going to do this, or if I'm going to just kind of treat it as like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sort of thing. So this is all experimental. So, oh man, let's take a look at these a little bit. So, I'll kind of explain a little bit like some of my thoughts behind what I was going through here. So, like, for some of these characters, so we got Majora's Mask. Ooh. Yes. Yep. Well, have a wonderful rest of your evening, and definitely if you stumble upon the live streams again Friday nights, I don't know what I'm doing next week. It'll be up in the air when I start doing next week, but enjoy the rest of your evening. All right. So let's see here. So yeah. So we have Majora's Mask, Metroid Prime. I have Adventures here, Assault, MDK2. So one for each game. And it's gonna be a little weird. So like I'll explain with MDK2 in particular because MDK2 actually has 3 main protagonists that you can play through. But I decided as I was setting this up, I was like, I'm gonna kind of separate them a little bit into a little bit more distinct roles. So the 3 main characters that you play as in MDK2 are getting split off into different roles. So I got one character in protagonist, one character in sidekick, one character in guides, kind of the roles that they fulfilled in the game. So that's kind of the one big exception with the whole player character, the character that you played through in the game. So with MDK2, I only have one of those characters in the protagonists. So, but yeah, just kind of looking through here, kind of what I'm feeling here. Very, very interesting. Okay, select that screen there. So, what I definitely remember with Happy Mask Salesman, just that very enigmatic, kind of creepy guy. It was a, so I do like him. Uh, let's see here. You know, helpful to certain extents. Yeah, definitely he is gonna be going towards the top for sure. But it's like, do I put him in S just because, or do I put him in A to not immediately put someone in S? But I feel like realistically, he is what you would consider, one of the more top tier ones. Um, you know, the way he speaks throughout the game and just has that air of mystery in the beginning and at the end of the game. Like, you don't know where he came from, what he's doing, whatever. And I do like that. And he's definitely the one that was like, all right, telling the hero, like, here's what you need to do. I'll give you some information along the way. I'll help you out a little bit, but it's up to you. Go on. Umos. I really like Umos. Even though Umos doesn't do a whole lot of anything in the game other than just an exposition dump at the beginning of the game. But for some reason, I really like the character designs of the Luminoth, and for some reason just fell in love with Umos as that type of guiding character of like, here's your quest, here's your mission, and I can unlock the doorway to the next area for you. So I really liked him, but he doesn't do quite the same job for sure as the Happy Mask Salesman. So can't fully justify outside of just liking the character design of him being above Happy Mask Salesman or anything like that. Doesn't sit right. Now for Star Fox Adventures with Peppy here. It's like there were several that I could choose from. Like I could have done General Pepper again, but I felt like Peppy did a little bit more with helping Fox McCloud, Fox McCloud through the main narrative. Um, I really don't know outside of the games. I haven't spent a lot of time with the characters, but I definitely liked Peppy. He's one of my favorite of the side cast of characters. I'm trying to think, like, where would I put him on this though? It'd be either it's feeling kind of middle of the road still, kind of still B. So that's where I'm feeling right now. So I'm gonna jump. No, I'll stick in order. It feels like everything's kind of lining up right off the bat. Where things are going. So let's see here. Alright, General Pepper in Star Fox Assault. I have him as the guide character because that he was really filling that role in that game of like, all right, heroes, this is the mission. Here's the information you need. Go get them. Character design. Whoop, I forget. This is slightly different than the version that's on the MacBook. Same program, but slightly different. Character design is ugly. He looked a whole lot better in Adventures. Really ugly in Assault. And that just brings him down for me for sure. It's like if he didn't look that bad, he'd be better. If he didn't look that bad, he'd be better. He's not the worst, but he probably will be on this list the worst. I'm not dropping him all the way down to, let's consider the EF. We'll consider that. Not that far. Dr. Hawkins. Man, that guy's something else. Really is something else. Ooh, okay. Yeah, he's just the wackiness, the silliness of the character. I am extremely biased towards MDK2. Totally biased. I admit it. I was like, I'm only keeping him off of S tier just because, you know, he's slightly less incompetent, or slightly less competent than the other lead characters in the game. Only by marginally, you know. The having the gadgets helps him out, but if he didn't have the gadgets and the crazy goo that made him Mr. Hyde, or yeah, Mr. Hyde, so he'd just be a scientist running around lecturing people. Now, Agrippa in Amnesia, I have him as a guide for Amnesia, The Dark Descent, because there towards the end, that he was really providing the information and direction, like, Daniel, this is what you need to do. I understand what needs to happen. Go here. You do this. Here's some information on what you're dealing with. And so, pretty decent. Kind of weird how you wanted, you know, just all around weird how he wanted to go out in that story. Let's see here. I'm feeling like he's up there with Peppy. I totally feel that. Because he wasn't all that bad. He really wasn't. Weird. Weird. And that earned some points in my book. Definitely earned some points in my book. Now that we just wrapped up Alan Wake, Zane. It was hard trying to get images for all these characters. Zane. He did things. He provided my manuscript pages to me to read, which I never actually read any of them as I was going through, so that's a shame. I'll have to read through those on my own some other time. The diver's suit, the deep sea diver's suit there. Okay, now thinking about it, there at the end, it's not a lake, it's an ocean. Okay, it's starting to make a little bit of sense there. So, but ultimately, apart from just a few times, it's like he was helping me out. He was playing a role of guide for Alan in writing the narrative, a direction to go through the narrative. But ultimately, like, not a whole lot about his character stood out to me. So he's kind of, he at least gets to be above General Pepper from Assault. He at least gets to do that much. So, not the best, but not the worst. And nobody fell down all the way at the bottom on this list here. Nobody. So that's good. Okay, interesting. Wasn't like 100% sure on exactly where I was going to place everybody. I was trying not to think of that too much in advance, but there we go. There's our guides. So we're gonna hide that layer, and we're just gonna go up to sidekicks next. Now, sidekicks, we got a number of them more here. Let's see here. Yeah. Because of Star Fox Assault. You know, I'm giving the four main sidekicks here, your allies throughout the fight there. Metroid, I couldn't think of anything for a psychic, so there is no representation of a psychic for Metroid Prime 2 in this tier list. It goes... I could think of something for Amnesia, but I couldn't really put anything together that I felt worthwhile for Metroid Prime 2. Samus is just too much of a, uh, you know, one woman alien butt kicking machine. Alright, so let's get started with these sidekicks here. With going back to the beginning, Majora's Mask with Tattle. What the heck? This Tattle. Alright. Tattle. What can I say about Tattle? I liked Tattle a whole lot more than Navi in Ocarina of Time. Navi was annoying. Tattle was a smart mouth. And I liked that. Tattle actually helped, didn't want to help me, but helped me. And wasn't annoying. Tried to be a little bit of a pain in the rear, but wasn't annoying about it. Yeah, we're going there. Alright. Gosh darn, why I keep doing it? Okay. The main character I considered sidekick early on, Tricky from Star Fox Adventures. Oh man, it's gonna take me a while to keep remembering to do that. Yeah, Tricky. Annoying. More helpful than Navi was to me. But still pretty annoying. And very smug in the beginning for sure. But that comes with being a, let me guess, I'm assuming, royalty, an only child, and being a hero, main character hero in an action story. So, Tricky. Right now I'm putting him in C, but I feel like I could justify moving him up to B. It's largely yeah. He actually did a lot to help. He had sidekick powers. He goes up to B. I'm remembering all of the sidekick powers. Got the flame breath, the digging up things. He was helpful. That helps level out the annoyance factor. Alright. We'll move on to the Star Fox Assault cast of crew. And alright. I'm gonna start with trying to force myself to remember. Slippy actually goes all the way at the bottom. The most annoying. Didn't really feel like he was doing much. I know he did something in the narrative towards the end. But goodness sakes, the annoyance factor for sure. When will I learn? When will I learn? I will not learn. Peppy. Yep. He's going up pretty high again. He's going up pretty high. Definitely. His wisdom, his sacrifice towards the end of the game. Yeah, earns him top spots. His his noble deeds towards the end of the game. Falco. I'll give him C just because I don't want him coming and kicking my door down and blowing things up. But ultimately, I'd rather him be down in D. I really would. But he actually provided some help. And I will forget every single time. And Crystal, she has, best girl power. So we're not going to argue with that. She has the romance, the love interest as well as psychic. So obviously bumps her up for sure. Here we go. Max, the four-legged dog. No, six-legged dog. Six-legged dog. There we go. Technically another playable character, is one of the three main characters you play through, but he fills the sidekick role a lot more in MDK and MDK2. Even though he is a main playable character in MDK2, you spend just as much time with him as you do Kurt and Dr. Hawkins. When you split them apart and the roles that they kind of fill narrative-wise, Max is a sidekick, and he is a butt-kicking sidekick. And I'm putting him up in A for sure. Definitely. So I just like the BA nature of Max. Now this one, I found a way to justify a psychic for amnesia, even though, like you could have said Agrippa could have been the sidekick. Coulda, but he filled a slightly different role. But Daniel, the main character, as you're playing through amnesia, you're by yourself for the overwhelming majority of the game through the narrative. But there is one sidekick that you have throughout that. And that is the trusty oil lantern. I think I only ran out once with the trusty oil lantern. But it's an inanimate object, so it can't go too high. But I'm going to put it in B tier because it was always there. It rarely let me down. It did its role. It helped me along in putting an end to the madness. And, oh boy. Here we go. Alan Wake with Mr. Barry Wheeler. Alright. I wasn't sure about Barry first time meeting him. Really early on. But man, did he grow on me a lot. So much so that we became friends. And friends are S tier. Definitely. My goodness, I did fall in love with Barry as a sidekick and ultimately as a friend towards the end of the game. Definitely. He's, gets thrown in over his head with all this paranormal nonsense, but he took it in stride and was right there along with Alan. He was like, I got you, bud. I don't know what's going on. I don't fully understand it, but I'm with you. So much so that he was wearing Christmas lights at the end of the game because that's what was working to keep him and his friend alive. So he definitely top of the list. Hands down. I had him set there from the moment I decided I was going to do this. Like, nope, he's at the top of the list. As much as I like some of these other characters, he's at the top of the list because he elevated from sidekick to friend. There we go. So there we go. A little bit more spacing and variety here. Sorry, Slippy, but do better next time. I don't know when the next time will be. Don't know. But there we go. So there's sidekicks. Alright. I'm going to jump to our protagonists. And I kind of got a little mix mashed here a little bit. So you're going to see I have two protagonists in adventures, but I think I'm only going to move Fox. So I don't think I'm going to really move Crystal on this list. Even though as I was gathering the images for this, I threw her in there. I'm like, wait a second, I don't think I was going to count her. So she's in this list. I might just throw her up there in the same spot with Fox. So we'll see what I decide when we get to that bridge and burn it down. Alright, here we go, starting again at the beginning with Majora's Mask. With the hero of time, technically Link, but in my playthrough, the hero was 2022. That was his name. So 2022. Man. Okay, yeah. No, he's definitely going to the top. Because I felt myself through him. For sure. Definitely. And I think a lot of people would agree. A lot of people would agree. Alright. So, it was interesting, with Ocarina of Time, Majora's Mask playing, as Link, 2022, starting off with the live streaming. So when I was trying to grow, trying to, talk and be entertaining in some form, with a live stream, talking to most often nobody. Sometimes somebody, one or two people, who knows. So, but definitely was helping. So that's why he's going up at the top there. It's like not only just because of the character in the games and what the character does, but what he was doing for me and how I was playing through the character. Jumping to Metroid Prime 2 with Samus Aran. It's interesting. I like her character, the story and narrative. I've actually delved a little bit more in the last year or two into Metroid lore. Been watching some videos on Samus's backstory, her connections with the Chozo and the space pirates, and especially with Ridley and their history, their connections throughout there, and some of the timeline and lore throughout the game series. I'm not an expert on it at all, but I've been delving into it. I find it very interesting. I like the character. As playing through it though, for the 2023 live stream and stuff like that, good character stuff like that, I did enjoy it. But oh man, um, it was kind of a middle of the road experience for me. So kind of fallen to B because I feel like there's gonna be a little bit of stuff's still gonna kind of stay towards the top in the middle there. I feel that, but you know, out of the experience, there wasn't a whole lot that really stuck out to me. So unfortunately, Samus has gone a little further on the list than I think a lot of people would like to see, but that's the list this time. Fox McCloud in Adventures. Okay, so I do like Fox McCloud. I like the characters in Star Fox Adventures. Have since I was a kid. But in Adventures, he's going C tier in Adventures. And now I've decided I'm splitting up Fox and Crystal. They're getting separated into their different tiers. I've made that decision since I put Fox McCloud in C tier for Star Fox Adventures. Crystal. Do I do it again? Do I put her back in A? I think she's gonna go in A tier. very briefly was she playable character in the beginning, so she's technically a main character, especially if you want to go back in history of the game, back to when it was Dinosaur Planet, before it was a Star Fox game, in which case Crystal was the primary main character. I've just recently been doing some of the research on that, so there's my justification for that. And this will make up for it with Fox McCloud. He's gonna get bumped up a little bit more from Assault. You know what? Yeah, he's going up a day. There, that will make up for the low ranking to C from Adventures, because I actually did like Fox a lot better. You know, he felt more the lead character in Assault. You know, he was the lead of the team. You know, he knew what had to do. He was going through the hero's story. Uh, you know, especially the last half of the game for sure. So, you know, he's got higher marks in Assault, as much as it was a shorter game. Higher marks for Fox McCloud. Kurt Hectic, and I keep forgetting I need to change the tool. Kurt Hectic, the man, the janitor. Horribly biased. I will admit that I'm horribly biased. I have no justification. I have no justification other than my pure enjoyment and love of that game. And the fact that he's technically the main character, the lead character for MDK2. And I like the suit design. I like the character design. You know, I like he's got some of the better writing in the game. Not so totally biased. He's going up top. He has to. Daniel. It's hard to get an image of an in-game image of Daniel. So here's his hand with the lantern, with his sidekick. What can I say about Daniel? He's both got guts and is a coward. No, I shouldn't say coward. He's got guts, but he's a scaredy pants. There we go. Different than coward. Because he easily gets scared, easily getting spooked or whatnot. But the guts make it, he's pushing through it. If he was a coward, he wouldn't push through it. So, scaredy pants, yes, but he can push through if you're a scaredy pants. Plus, yeah, he wins some points a little bit, and that you know, he's got my physique as well. You know, from what I hear is like I might actually have more muscle than Daniel. I don't know. But Daniel, I think he's oof. Where do I put him? Where do I put him? Where do I put him? I'm thinking about it. It's not where I'm hovering, that's for sure. I'm building up tension as I'm trying to make up my mind. Okay, I think right now, until something startles me, he's going in C. You know, it's like I got some critiques or some just like what, why now? Why are you reacting this way? And I'm sure it's just because there's some lore behind the game and the story that I don't know yet. So right now it brings him down a little bit. Now, Alan Wake, Mr. Ryder. He's joining Samus in B simply for the fact he's not that athletic. You know, if he could hold a sprint just a little bit longer, he'd go up in A tier. But he's in B tier simply for his lack of athletics. But at least he knew what he had to do. He knew the missions that he had to go through, what he needed to do. He's a writer. He's got a hard job ahead of him. Throw that on top of his love interest is consumed by the shadows, the darkness, and he's got to get her back. But you know, I'm putting him on the same tier as Sama, so it's not too shabby. But when you compare it, yeah, it seems a little low on the list. But hey, nobody made it down to the bottom as far as protagonists, so that's good. I didn't play a bad game. That's what that says about that. I didn't play a bad game. That's my justification, I guess. So there we go. Fairly balanced there, I would say. Alright. Now, antagonists. Here we go. Okay. Let's take a look. So, when thinking about the antagonists, I'm going to zoom out just a smidgen here. Just to get everything kind of in screen here. Torn a little bit with the antagonists. Because I kind of set it up. There's quite often there was a villain that you faced off or dealt with throughout the majority of the game. You know, either a repeating bad guy who was maybe a minion of the darkness, or they did a switch on who the actual bad guy was at the end. So there's the bad guy you spend a majority of the time dealing with or facing off with, and then there's the actual final boss character, the final boss villain of the game. So each game is actually getting represented with two different villains. So we got more characters that we're going to be going through here. So we'll start off with Majora's Mask. Again, from the beginning of the year, going on, Skull Kid. Now, I thought Skull Kid and Majora were one and the same until actually paying attention to what was going on in the game. Even at a young age. Because I only got about halfway through the game, I kind of figured they were one and the same. So it was years later when I learned that, oh, wait, no, Majora is the mask, and Skull Kid is not Majora, but wears the mask. But Skull Kid, that crazy little imp, that little guy, he's the driving antagonist for a lot of the events that actually unfold in the game, even though he's not the main villain. But he's the one that instigated a lot of the stuff because of his trickster nature. You know, the I just want to have fun and play and mess with people nature. So he's I'm gonna throw him kind of middle of the road because he's not really that bad at heart, but he did cause a lot of bad mischief to go down. He helped instigate a lot of mischief. Majora didn't actually spend a lot of time with Majora itself, the mask itself, until the end of the game for sure. It was definitely an interesting boss fight for that game. And I guess I'm kind of glad that I haven't actually 100%ed it yet, since I now know that it's a, you just stomp over the boss at the end if you've got the Fierce Deity mask. But Majora, I just thrown up an A tier for right now. Simply for the fact, love the design. I thought Majora and Skull Kid were the same. It's the main villain, definitely, and so much so it's I went and 3D printed and hand painted my own little Majora's Mask myself. I'd go grab it, but that'd be too much hassle. I'd knock everything over. Um, so there they go. Not top of the list, but definitely upper echelons there. Okay. So, Dark Samus, villain that you spent the majority of the time dealing with off and on in Metroid Prime 2. Dark Samus. Interesting one. Interesting one. Let's see here. Kind of throw her and it. Did they really assign an official gender to Dark Samus? But thrown up an A, just because it kind of two things. It technically was the final boss of the game, but I consider Dark Samus to be that enemy you spent periodically back and forth dealing with throughout the game, even though it was the final boss actually. But what I'm considering the true final boss for the game before Dark Samus is the Emperor Ing. Because that technically was the final boss fight. That was a boss fight. And boy, what a fight that was for me going through that again. I actually spent a whole lot more time with dealing with the Emperor Ing than I did with Dark Samus. The only reason I spent as much time with Dark Samus was I wasn't paying attention to, scanning and reading the hints for dealing with her, countering moves or whatnot. So Dark Samus was technically easy as a boss fight, but the Emperor Ing actually provided some challenges. And so, yeah, because of that, S tier. There we go. It was really good final boss fight. That helped elevate. It was definitely a challenge, and, it was the big baddie for the enemy species that you were dealing with in the main narrative. So, definitely goes up there. Okay. General scales. This is what I'll say for general scales. I liked him as the antagonist. Up until the very end. When he no longer was the antagonist. And he just keeled over. For no reason whatsoever. They start off, you're gonna fight the guy. And I remember going through watching this, and I remember last year playing through this, cutscenes going for general scales. I'm like, alright, I'm a little thirsty, like I am right now. I've been talking for a long time. I need to be drinking a lot more water. So I'm like, alright. Cutscene finishes, and back into the gameplay. He's coming right at me. I'm like, I'm not ready. I'm reaching for the controller to hit the pause button. Like, I wasn't ready for it. So, like, I wasn't ready to fight him. I had to quickly get ready. I'm like, alright, collect myself. I'm ready. And unpause the game. I do one dodge out of his way because he was like right on top of me with his sword. Dodge out of the way, turn, attack, cutscene, and then he keels over and he's no longer the enemy. I'm like, oh yeah, that's right, that happens in the game. So I would like to love him a lot more, but as an antagonist, I liked the design. He was the antagonist for 95% of the game. If he had been the antagonist for throughout the whole game, he'd go higher. But he falls down. And he falls down to Andross, who is a Star Fox villain. The main Star Fox villain in the narrative. And General Scales was the main villain in Star Fox Adventures before it was Star Fox Adventures. Once they swapped it over to a Star Fox game, I guess they decided there at the end, well, now we have to have General Scales not be the main big baddie at the end of the game. We have a Star Fox villain. And so I get Andros as a kid thrown on me at the end of the game. I don't know who this guy is. I'm only just now seeing him at the end of the game, and it wasn't a good experience. So I was like, the boss fight, it was interesting. It was a Star Fox uh, uh, gameplay mechanic and boss fight, and it was decent and stuff like that. But for the experience, oof. Okay, gameplay wise, wasn't bad. That's the only thing keeping him out of the very bottom of the list. That's the only thing saving him. It's just the gameplay mechanics. Otherwise, everything about him, everything else about that experience, I want to drop him down to the bottom of the list. But the gameplay was decent. Moving on to Assault, which was an actual Star Fox game through and through, for sure. So I threw in kind of the villain that you dealt with here and there. I decided not to go with Wolf and his other team there. It was Wolf, Panther, and whoever the chameleon guy was. I don't remember that character's name at all. I decided not to have them in villain roles because of the help that they provide towards the end of the game. They're kind of, you know, they're antagonists for Fox and his team, but they're not antagonists in the villain sense. They're antagonists in as far as like they're the foil characters for Star Fox and his team. But Pigma, I decided Pigma could be that because he played a more antagonistic role. He caused some grief. Not a whole lot of it, but he was there instigating some stuff. Didn't do a whole lot, wasn't doing a whole lot much, so he's going next to Andros. But he made the list. He made the list of antagonists. He should be happy with that, wherever he is post Star Fox Assault timeline, which I don't think he exists anymore. Spoilers. All right, the Aparoid Queen. One, it was hard getting a somewhat decent image. I went with first stage image. Aparoid Queen. Okay, so I played Star Fox Assault last year at kind of a medium to hard difficulty. Not the hardest difficulty, not the easiest difficulty. So kind of in the middle. And at some points I regretted that decision, but I stuck through with it. It's like, hey, I'm older, I can deal with it. I can put up with dying a few more times in the game. And so when we got to the Aparoid Queen there, that was a boss fight. That was an endurance factor. Going back to get the graphics for this, looking through that live stream. All I had was that final level and the final boss fight, to start off that session, that week. And I was like, all right, hour tops, get it done. Then I have another hour left. I'll play some Starbound afterwards. I'll do something else afterwards. That was a 3-hour stream. I spent over 2 hours fighting that thing. Man, that was annoying. My eyes hurt at the end of that. That was horrible. I put it up at A tier because that was an experience for sure. And after the fact, I learned how to dodge some of those final moves because there was in the final stand with the boss. had two attacks: a direct laser beam and then a circle acoustic attack. And I figured out after the fact what I needed to do to dodge that circle beam attack. It's like, don't try and dodge out of it, get into the center of it. I wish I had remembered that earlier. I would have saved maybe an hour off of that live stream. Maybe an hour and a half even. I don't know. That was miserable. It was a horrible experience in the long run while it was happening. But it was a good boss fight, a good Star Fox boss fight. So goes up to A tier. For some reason, I don't know. I just feel like I had to list that higher. I'm doing that again. All right. The darkness. The darkness. The monster that's hunting the people who interact with the orb in Amnesia, The Dark Descent. That you never see. It's always behind you, creeping up, killing as it's coming after you to kill you, get you, or whatever. That thing. I keep forgetting to do that. Ever present, always right here throughout the entire game. Just driving you insane. But you never actually fought it, never actually dealt with it, but it was always there. And I just changed my mind on where I was going to put it, because I was going to put it in C. I'm going to put it in B, just because of its presence. It was always there. It had an effect on you. It definitely did. Now, I had forgotten his name until today when I was looking up, finally getting the images for everybody. But Alexander. I kept on thinking, like yesterday, when I first started putting this together. I kept thinking, Frederick. Like, no, that doesn't sound right. But Alexander. That crazy guy. Not much of a boss fight. He was the final boss for the game, for sure. Always there. He's kind of a twisted, sick puppy for sure. So he's on the same level. Gonna stay on the same level with the monster. Because he was a monster of his own as well. Now, alright. Kind of got them out of order here, the icons here, but we'll keep going in order of the games that I played through 2023. So I'm going to start with Schwang Schwing for MDK2. Mr. Schwang Schwing, he was the villain that you dealt with the majority of the game. You fight him a couple different times throughout, and he was ever present. I love his character design. Just this big purple guy with bright neon red, shades. He's smooth talking. He's got the wits about him, and he had some influence on me as a kid with some of my own comics. My main childhood comic that I used to draw, his character design influenced the character design of one of my own villains in there. So I have some love for Mr. Schwang Schwing as an antagonist, as a villain type character in a game. So he's got some bias around him. He's going up pretty high there because I enjoy the character a lot, hands down. So I think he's a pretty swell guy. You know what? Nope. He did get blown up in the game. I do remember that. We did actually finish him off. but I have extended narrative in my mind from my childhood. I I you know as a kid I started designing the narrative post MDK2, what MDK3 would be, and he had a role in that. Didn't make sense, but I had my explanation for why he came back. But yeah, no, he's an S tier character, S tier villain for me. Even though he's not like evil at heart as an antagonist goes, he's up there for me. Emperor Zizzy Baluba, kind of gets thrown at you at the end of the game. No real mentions of him leading up to that, but the character makes sense, and it was an interesting boss fight. You got sort of a because you can play his boss fight with each of the three main characters. Kurt, Max, Dr. Hawkins, and because of their unique gameplay styles, there's some unique aspects to fighting him in each style. So he's got sort of three, you could say three pseudo boss fights all in one. Um, and it wasn't a terrible, jarring final boss experience like Andros was in Adventure. So he's a decent one. I like him a lot. Um, wouldn't necessarily call him like evil. Um, no, so he's going. I'm gonna put him on B tier. Yes, he was the final boss of the game. He instigated, the events of the game for sure for his own amusement. But uh, he's not bad. He's not the worst. So there we go. He's at least on par with a couple monsters and a miss. There we go. B tier is just full of monsters and mischief. That's what it is. B tier is monsters and mischief, craziness. There we go. Weird combination here of characters on B tier. All right. Now, Alan Wake with the enemies. I decided that the darkness, the taken enemies throughout were what you were dealing with. The enemy that you dealt with, not quite boss level, but the enemy you dealt with, the antagonist you dealt with throughout the entire game, repeatedly. Those darn birds. Those Alfred Hitchcock inspired birds. Repeatedly. They caused some havoc. But they're not really a boss character. They never really were a boss character. So they're going to go with general scales. There's things we like about them. We like the concept, what they are representing in the story. The theming around them. But they weren't a boss character. They never were. They never ended up being boss characters. Jagger. There at the end. Jagger. This one's hard because I'm still reflecting on the character and what it was doing, what the goal was. There's more that I would need to know. So this one's a hard one for me to place right now. But I think just the type of character, very creepy old lady, controlling darkness, paranormal, supernatural aspects to the character and what the character is doing, what she's doing. It's like I tie the darkness twister throughout the game, so I saw her in the gameplay throughout for sure. in the Twister, tearing up, knocking over trees and all that. So, okay, I'm feeling like I'm gonna have to put her in A tier for right now until I go down in some deep dive lore stuff in the future and find out, ooh, maybe that this is something I don't like about the character, or ooh, no, this should actually elevate the character. Who knows? So that's where I'm gonna place her for now. Still reflecting on the character, so it's going a little higher. Uh, just initially, I don't have a lot of emotional tie to the character. It wasn't a super interesting boss fight like some of the other ones have had on here. Like Emperor Ing for sure had a great boss fight. Emperor Zizzy has uh, an interesting trio of boss fights. The way that those can go. Um, you know, Majora's Mask has some weird moments in his boss fight. That's for sure. Uh, so so we're kind of all over the place on there, but that's our antagonists for there. Um, I was thinking about listing a tier listing for the actual games themselves, but I decided I wasn't gonna do that. But we'll just kind of reflect, see where things are sitting out there. Um, but man, yeah. So like going back, you know, uh, our guys where we're sitting at, Majora's Mask up at the top, you know, a good mix. Things are kind of all over the place. So, um, yeah, it's like for each game, you've got your ups and your downs between the characters, what they are doing to the narrative, how they affected the gameplay, the roles that they were in, the enjoyment of the main player character, the main protagonist. So, very there we go. That's my first tier list that I've done, and very interesting experience. So, this will be going up. My plans is to have this go up as a separate video apart from the live stream. It'll stay attached to the live stream for sure, but I'll throw this up as its own standalone video within the next few days or something like that, and see what kind of traction that gets. But this was all an experiment. I hope you found this interesting. You probably uh, can scream and disagree with some of the placements of these things, but I'm biased. This is my list. I did it my way. I promise I won't sing that much, especially now my voice is raspy. I should have been drinking a whole lot more. But there we go. That was uh, our session for this week. We finished up Alan Wake, first hour of tonight, uh, roughly first hour. Those credits were really long. And then this little experiment here at the end of a tier list thing. And not done in the typical way that you would do a tier list. This was my way of managing a mishmash uh, tier list. So here you're not going to find this posted online on those tier list sites for download or anything like that. No, this was custom slapped together with some tape and over the last 2 days. So, but there we go. We'll go ahead and just save the file as it is right now, so we can reflect on it I can reflect on it a year from now. Who knows? But that will do it for this week. I don't know what game I'll be starting next week. I have a couple ideas, but I have not settled on which one I'm gonna go with yet. So it'll be a surprise to whoever come next week. I hope you found some enjoyment, whether it was in the gameplay session, if you've been watching throughout, or tuning in here and there, or catching this by some odd chance that YouTube recommends the live stream later on, or whatever. But or if you're watching uh, the video format of just the tier list, I hope you've got some entertainment out of it. I found it a little interesting. Was curious about my thought processes a little bit, and fun experiment. But anyways, I hope you have enjoyed. Have a wonderful rest of your evening, the rest of your weekend. Stay warm. It is very cold out where I live right now. Very cold. I'm not happy about it. Um, but I plan on staying warm over the weekend. Uh, and next Friday, I will try and start a little more on time at 8 o'clock. And we'll see you then. Until then, adios.